A hearing into Rogers' plan to buy rival Shaw wrapped up this week. The two telecom firms argue the $46 billion deal is a necessary part of a healthy market. The competition commissioner, who is challenging the deal, thinks otherwise, arguing a loss of market players will make life worse for consumers. But the Competition Bureau is also asking for a review of the rules that govern mergers altogether. Robin Shaban is a senior economist and co-founder of Vivic Research. Robin, great to have you with us.
Thanks for having me.
So let's start with the telecom merger. It's a big deal. It takes one player out and merges it with another. Is it cut and dry? Do we have enough competition in the wireless space in this country?
It is pretty cut and dry. The Competition Bureau has grappled with this issue before when it reviewed Bell's acquisition of MTS back in 2016. And what was interesting about that investigation is they found that in provinces where there are more telecom players, like in Saskatchewan, where you have SaskTel, prices are lower. So removing a competitor through this merger is likely going to have impacts for Canadians when it comes to the prices they pay for telecom services.
And of course, this is happening, and it does feel important that this particular competition commissioner has also asked for and is getting a review of how we look at these things. It sounds as though he might win this argument just based on the old standard, which is pricing, are consumers better off or not. He also wants us to rethink how we measure are mergers good. What's at the root of all of this? What do we know about what he's trying to get at?
Well, first off, I completely agree with what he's calling for. And part of the driver of this is Canada's status relative to other comparable countries. We're really far behind when it comes to the modernization of our competition law. And there are deeper issues than just a little tweak here and a little tweak there. We need to be rethinking how we understand competition, what competition means in our modern markets with data and large platform firms. So this review is coming at a really important time.
And of course, one of the questions we have to ask, because as Canadians, we have a few different sectors where there are some just large dominant players, and we often sort of think, well, that's because we're a small country and there's something unique about our geography. Might a review of that change how we think about some existing sectors? Telecom is one of them, banking would be another.
I hope so. And I think that there are a lot of dimensions to rethinking how we understand competition, how we understand concentration. I think that Canadians are shifting their perspectives on this. I think in the past, we used to be more tolerant of that corporate dominance in our everyday lives. But as we look internationally to other countries, I think Canadians are starting to understand the downsides and the dangers of that.
Robin, it's so good to have you with us. Appreciate your time today.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Robin Shaban is senior economist and co-founder of Vivic Research. Time for the takeaway and new meaning to giving an industry a black eye. The image of crude oil creeping like a deathly stain across a meadow and into a creek in Washington County, Kansas, is the stuff of nightmares for those who live on and work the land, an up-close and personal price for allowing the pipeline to traverse there. For anyone who cares about the environment, a blow. And for the large group of people who oppose pipelines as unsafe, a sickening confirmation of their worst fears. But for TC Energy, owner of that pipeline, and for the oil and gas industry more broadly, it's a stain on their reputation at what is surely the worst possible time. The 14,000 barrels of oil that spilled could fill an Olympic pool. It's shaping up as one of the worst onshore crude spills in the U.S. in a decade, according to U.S. government data. And here, it is worth pausing. Without diminishing the scale of this disaster, and again, the closer you are to the spill, the more awful it is, but compared to how much oil flows in pipelines across North America, another way to look at that number is surprisingly low. Not acceptable, of course. No spill will ever feel acceptable. But given that our world is still very much powered by oil and gas, and that getting it from where it's produced to where it can be refined is an essential part of the puzzle, rejecting pipelines altogether is a bit premature. So while they exist, and in fact are expanded, can we ask for a better record on safety? It's like asking the trucking industry to have zero tolerance for accidents. It's a worthy goal, but we don't let the risk of accidents keep us from getting our stuff as soon as possible. Is there a reasonable quantity of oil that might be spilled from a pipeline that ships 600,000 barrels a day? On the record, everyone will say no. The only right answer is 0. But that doesn't mean we can't put accidents, when they happen, in perspective. My takeaway, while we still need oil, we'll keep shipping it. The industry would be doing itself a favor if it avoided spills altogether. That's Taking Stock for this week. I'm Amanda Lang. Thanks for being with us.